Hey, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Um, we're back with more Citizen Sleeper. I'm gonna move the microphone closer to my face. So, where did we even leave off? We were a level 10 operator. That's where we left off. Right, we're supposed to be going to sleep now. Except that I know that when we do, this is going to trigger. Everyone, get ready to meet a real POS. And we're starving. Here we go. Ethan, a cynical bounty hunter. Hold it there, sleeper, comes a voice from behind you. Don't you run. This is Ethan. Ethan's a bounty hunter and a real POS. A strike across your back knocks you face down onto the floor. I told you not to run, idiot. Ethan pulls you up. He's wearing a wide smirk and a slick jacket, and you immediately know he is terrible news. You got all the way out here and then stayed put. He laughs, a cruel laugh. That a sleeper thing? You're my first. You barely hear him. You've noticed the handgun he has leveled at your chest, and it's hard to take your eyes off of it. He reaches down with his other hand and slips some kind of ring from a belt loop without taking his eyes off you. Making it to the eye, though, that's pretty good. This place isn't so bad. Bars, markets, people. I pull most of my contracts out of the asteroid caves or off of godforsaken moons. He splits the ring into two perfect circles. It's hard to hit civilization when there's so much space to pass through. Who are you? Just a freelancer in a contract. He reaches over to slide the rings around your wrists. Go easy. Make a break for it, or let him. Like, he's got a gun leveled at us, let's be clear. Run it is. You see a chance the moment his eyes leave you to watch the rings. You spin, knocking him away and sprinting down the corridor. The shot rings out, echoing off the metal so loud it hurts your ears. A bullet hole smokes in the wall beside your head. You freeze, and Ethan closes the gap. This is a very boring routine. Trust me, I've seen it all before. He slips the rings over your trembling wrists. Ethan nudges you to start walking. To the ship and home, he whistles, going easy. You stumble down the corridor, your hands behind you, your mind racing. We can work this out. Who hired you? Please stop. Please stop. Don't debase yourself by begging, please. Ethan pulls a sharpshooter's earplug out and then pops it back in. Consider these deaf ears. Ethan yawns and continues to nudge you down the corridor. Shame to come all the way out here just to head back to Essen-Arp right away. That tracker of yours makes this too quick. I was hoping you'd put up a bit more of a chase, you know? A running battle through the bright market, maybe, or a holdout in the low end. There's a few establishments I would have enjoyed checking out while I asked around. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. If you're bored, dude, do something else. You don't gotta be a dick. You walk on in silence for a little longer, desperately trying to think of a way to escape. That Essen-Arp tracker will be the death of you. Yeah, thanks, Fang. Buddy. Hey, I have an idea. Ethan interrupts your thoughts. How about on the way back to the ship, we stop for a drink? I'm buying. He laughs at his own joke. I have a better idea. Stay silent. I have a better idea. This better not be one of those where you do a dramatic pause and then try to jump me, because I'm pretty tired of that. Although, muses Ethan, I've got myself thinking, what's the rush here? Here we are in one of the most lawless joints in the surrogate systems, and we are heading for the exit. He pauses, and you trudge on in silence. Okay, here's the idea. You and me, we make a little agreement. Here are the terms. He turns you to face him. You run, or leave, or try to abandon the eye, I shoot you. You plot or scheme, you try to kill me, I shoot you. But, he smiles, you come meet me in an establishment of my choice every few cycles, you pay my tab, I don't shoot you. You don't pay my tab? He rattles his handgun. You get the idea. Yeah, I get it. Okay then, that sounds to me like a deal. He stretches. You know, I really thought I was going to have to kill you, but this is so much better. He clicks something at his belt and the rings release from your wrists. I'm going to see if I can find my old stool at the compressor club. Come see me there. He aims the handgun at you, squinting down the sight. Let me just remind you, that body of yours is one big tracker, so don't even think about leaving the eye. I'll know. Ethan turns and strides off down the corridor, slipping his handgun away. The mix of relief and terror you feel is overwhelming. Oh yes, he's very original, is Ethan. What are you gonna do? You hope he drowns in his beer? Aw, come on. Ethan's not the worst human being in the world, just the worst one we're dealing with. You see Ethan at a distance shouting from the bar for more drinks. This bill isn't going to be small, is it? 4 turns. Right, we need a key. We need another key. Can't do anything with that. That's an agent, that's an agent, that's an agent. Okay. So we need another key and there's no keys available, which means we need to make something available. Huh. We only have 14 bucks. That's the other problem that we've got right now, is we need to make money somewhat desperately. Okay. We have a 1. We should probably use that on the Yadigan agent. I believe we can access with a 1. Because it might give us a couple bucks. It sure didn't. Ah! Well, here comes Hunter. Those familiar threads wrap around you, bind you, test you. Entity submit. Hunter's strange head bobs in your vision. Your ally in the sealed dock cannot save you. In that globed head, you see whirling strings of data, so many spinning that they threaten to tear through this thin skin and whip out into the void around. What happened to this creature? The threads squeeze and you lose any sympathy you might have had. You must escape. You lash out once more, pushing Hunter back, severing threads that regrow as fast as they are broken. You slip away. You realize you have to find a way to deal with Hunter once and for all. This is getting too dangerous. Ooh! God! Did you see how much damage that just did to me? Hunter, you dink. Okay. Okay. We can't get into low end because we don't have any money. We need food because we're starving. I am tempted to up our endure. But we were saving our upgrade points for discounts. Okay, next turn is going to be something we can do there. Fang doesn't need us. Alright, let's try to gain access to the shipyards. Oh, no. I'm doing very badly. Alright, alright. Alright, we got 19 bucks. Yeah, Ethan's a real dink like that. We're gonna buy some food from Memphis. Okay. What are our options here? We can't... We already slotted the Ripper Worm. That's happening. The ambergris is currently repairing itself in 2 more days. I have to be able to get to the Greenway to expand Memphis. Ethan's tab is 4 days away. Yeah, I'm just really hosed if I don't get another access key. So yeah, let's come on. Finally. You observe the shipbuilders and try to make yourself useful carrying tools and crates. You begin to notice how they work. Okay. We're making progress very slowly. We're in deep trouble here, people. We need a lot of cash. Ethan does not drink in small amounts. Oh, there we go. Work. Is there work? Alright, this ship's in, so we can do some work for that money. We have a dose of stabilizer, so we need to use this today. If we want to have 5 dice, or 4 dice even tomorrow. Alright, shipyard. I know something that works here. If we do the Endure at... Oh, it's only a 50-50 because we... Right. I wanted to use the 6 because the 6 guarantees a positive outcome. Let's see if there's any data caches. That's an agent. That's an agent. We're in trouble. Well, this isn't paying is the problem. Well, we got $5. You shot at a shipbuilder who is impressed when you know how to double seal a hull plate. He slips you a tip at the end of the shift. Cool, great. we have a positive outcome, we can finish this today. As long as we don't have a negative outcome. Come on. No, we didn't get there today. Alright, let's go buy another plate of mushrooms. We're gonna need our energy. I kind of want to save our stabilizer, so we're gonna go down to 3 dice. We are almost broke. I've got to have a good paying job come in. Oh, we got another 6. Oh, good. Fang. As you arrive, Fang comes striding towards you, taking you by surprise. Let's go, Sleeper. He puts a hand on your shoulder and turns you back the way you came. Go where? To see Hardin Hurst. He gives you a sideways glance. Isn't that why you're here for? No. I came here because you promised to help me with a tracker, dude. He steps into the passageway, guiding you downring towards the shipyard. Sorry for the hurry, but we have something of an opportunity. That data you ripped? Well done, by the way. Tells me Hardin is making a rare inspection of the sidereal horizon this cycle. It's the perfect chance to confront him outside of that compound he hides in. Takes a sharp turn onto a dimly lit side passage. Confront him? That's right. It's the perfect time. Fang slows and slips into a dark service tunnel where, somewhere in the black, a water pipe drips. It's him, Sleeper. The same Hardin Hurst. Our woman ripped out decades of records that mention him by name. An entire trail of documentation from the first days of the Solheim collapse until now. He wrote out the whole thing. Slipped into Havenage when it first broke off from the Union. He paces in the tunnel, a hand rubbing at the back of his head. I need you to understand something about Solheim, Sleeper. I don't know what you know about the collapse, but it wasn't as instant as it sounds. It wasn't like Solheim was here running the station one day and the next, Erland's Union took power. Back then, Solheim knew this place was slipping away from them. As the palladium market collapsed, they tried to keep the contractors here working. The pay got smaller, the costs higher. People like my parents were forced to work nonstop just to keep a berth on the station and water in their tanks. Solheim squeezed every last worker until the mistakes, the accidents, were coming in non-stop. And as waves of contractors came in desperate to work, Solheim welcomed them, taking bribes instead of checking pilot licenses. The whole time Solheim was folding up, dragged into court cases in the central systems, while the severed limb of a station still desperately tried to take all it could. The riots came after the collision at Dock 2. A young pilot, his MEV overloaded with palladium, miscalculated his trajectory and took out a section of the ring. Hundreds died. Thousands panicked. My parents told me they were terrified, and the blame fell squarely on Solheim. People like to tell stories about Erland, how he brought the factions together, spoke to the crowds, turfed out Solheim. Maybe that's true, but my mother, pregnant with me, locked herself inside their MEV and welded it to the dock while my father joined the improvised crews, trying to seal up the ragged edges of the gap. He never came back. Fang pauses in the dark. They sealed it up, though, and by the time they did, Solheim was gone, abandoning every one of us to the black. Apart. Fang finally turns back to you now, his eyes burning. From shits like Hardin. Shits who held their place, rode it out, and slipped into the new structure like nothing had changed, standing shoulder to shoulder with those they had exploited at every step. Fang starts walking again. That's why I can't just let him strut up out the shipyard. This time, his past catches up with him. Is this the best way to go about this, Fang? Stay silent. Fang rejoins the main passageway, which is now wide and glass-roofed. Through the ceiling, you can see ships in mid-construction, their flanks lit by flashes of plasma torches. The entrance to the shipyard is ahead. This is crazy. Let's go. Both are true. Let's go show this shithead some consequences. He strides to the shipyard entrance and pushes through the doors. A web of corridors lead through the complex, snatches of the construction bay always appearing through windows. Ships are suspended like whale corpses, skeletal, imposing. Feng seems to know exactly where he is going. Before long, you cross into a huge dry dock, locked to one side of the sidereal horizon. A network of platforms and scaffolding clinging to the ship's hull, filled with workers and equipment. The sound is stretched out by the vast space, so that the welding, cutting, and sealing seem to come from everywhere at once. Both you and Feng spot them at the same time, a group walking slowly across a gantry, and at the front, two men, one gesturing towards the ship and the other, stick-thin, cleanly dressed, with a shock of gray hair. Arden. You and Feng say his name in unison. Feng sets off up the staircase to the gantry with you following behind. As you come to the same level, the group is passing closer, the foreman gesturing to the work being done throughout the dock, and Harden nodding along. Harden Hurst! Feng shouts across the noise, taking you by surprise. His voice bounces and comes back in a rippling echo. The figures turn. Yes? Harden asks quizzically, raising an eyebrow. He glances between you and Feng, and you see his gaze linger on your body, unsure of why a sleeper might be in this place. Harden, a senior Havenage member. Havenage. You are a traitor, Harden, a Solheim executive who tried to hide here among his victims. Feng's voice is steady, strong. You stand for everything the Eye was rebuilt in the shadow of, against everything Erlin stands for, everything Havenage stands for. You have no place on this station. For a moment, stillness descends on the group, as if everyone is held in place by the rattle of construction. Harden laughs. Well, good to meet you too? He glances around at those around him. Some are smiling, the others nervous. You are from the systems branch, are you not? Asks Harden, inspecting Feng's clothing. Feng turns to the foreman. You need to call your security. This man is a corporate agent. The foreman glances between Feng and Harden, his hands drumming at his side. Harden leans towards him and says something inaudible. The foreman nods. It's true. As you begin speaking, Harden turns his attention to you. And what would a sleeper know about that? You accuse me of being a corporate agent. What are you, if not exactly that? He looks around the group, who are already eyeing you with suspicion. You are a product of Essen-Arp. You have no place in a Havenage shipyard. Who knows what signals you are sending back to your makers? A murmur of approval runs through the group. Feng holds up a stick of memory. You guessed right. I am systems, and I have records that link you directly to Solheim right here. He turns to the foreman again. So once again, I am asking you to take this man into custody of the shipyard. The foreman remains still. Harden's voice is calm, measured. If you has such data, why hasn't it been submitted at a members' meeting for proper review? He shakes his head. I have nothing to hide, unlike a man who does not announce his name, who enters my shipyard with corporate property in tow, and tries to turn my own men against me. You hear it now, the echoing sound of boots on walkways coming from all angles at once, and then settling behind you. Please, says Harden, submit the data through the correct channels, then we can talk. For now, however, you must leave. He gestures behind you to the security detail, their hands on boxy black SART items at their sides. Feng spits. Harden, you shithead, you can't wriggle out of this one. A security officer draws their weapon and levels it. Feng turns and stares him down. Go for the weapon. As you move, Feng puts a hand on your shoulder. He shakes his head and nods to security. Let's go, says Feng. He pushes through security, heading back down the walkway. Once security has walked you out of the shipyard and nudged you back into the corridor, Feng picks up pace. You try to keep up as he slips into the shadows of an entrance. Feng is grinning ear to ear. You know, Sleeper, sometimes people are exactly how you expect them to be. Something pings in his pocket, and he takes it out. On the slate, a web of connections starts drawing itself out, stretching to a set of points around the ring. Got him, mutters Feng. What is that? That, Sleeper, is something our worm added to Harden's personal slate. We're tracking his outgoing messages. Feng's grin looks ghostly in the uplight of his screen. The old ways are best. Spook them good enough and they'll give the game away. He jabs at the slate, and you see the web is being drawn over a map of the ring, lines bouncing from point to point. All these dots? These are Hardin's buddies, the ones he's messaging right now, and we're going to find them all. That was on purpose? Of course, Hardin isn't working alone. We need the full set or nothing. Fang glances around and slips the slate back into his pocket. We better split for now, Sleeper, but this is exactly what we need. Good hunting. With a pat on your shoulder, Fang drifts away, back into the flow of people around the shipyard entrance. You watch him go, unsure of whether to be angry or impressed. Hey, we got an upgrade point. We now have 2 points. All cryo actions will be discounted by 20%. Thank you. But now I have to wait another 4 days for Fang's quest line to advance. Alright, we need money. This is a job, and we've got a 6. Oh, really? Right. -1. Do it anyway. 15 cryo. Oh, I thought I'd get paid better than that. That sucks. That's bad. Gambling. Alright. Should have used that 6 to make some money. We are done with the day. So, we have options on what we're going to do, right? Oh, we're starving again. Oh, good, good. I'm so happy we keep rolling 1s. Alright, anything we can do, anything we can do. Havenage agent, we can't hit with a 1. Havenage agent, can't hit with a 1. Yadigan agent? Yadigan agent, we can hit with a 1. Maybe we can make some money. Well. Oh, right. And Kita. And Kita is crouched in the computing core of the ambergris, swearing to herself when you enter. She doesn't look up. These shits completely ruined the core's connectors when they cut it. She holds up a thick fistful of ragged wires. The shipmind they ripped won't even be usable without replacing these. She throws the bundle of wires across the room. Amateurs. Who took it? She stands. If I knew, do you think I'd be waiting around in here rather than out there with my boot on their neck? She sighs. Yadigan? Some spacer crew? No way to know, but they got in with one of my crew's access chips, so they either killed him, robbed him, or he was in on it. No good options. Nikita climbs out of the cooling well where the shipmind should be. The space suddenly crowded with her on the same level as you. Towering over you, she stoops beneath the low curved ceiling. Come on, nothing to be done here now. She leads you back through the guts of amber. Though you could find the way back yourself, the repair process has left you familiar with the cutter's idiosyncratic layout, all diagonal angles and bundled tubes. Walk in silence. Hums and groans grow and fall as you pass. You reach out and touch the ship gently. You've started to grow an attachment to Amber. Ankita glances at you. Something up, Sleeper? Thinking about Amber. Ankita softens. Funny to hear you use her name like that. She pauses. Not bad, just funny. We've been through a lot together, me and this ship. I'm glad you see why she's special. Ankita seems lost in thought, and you focus on the corridors, ducking below conduits and passing through bulkheads. Eventually, you arrive in the galley. Though it's hard to tell, most of the benches and prep surfaces are covered in half-stripped components and welded hull patches. Ankita shoves a box of filters to the floor and sits. There's no way around it. She starts out of nowhere. We need a new shipmind. Where from? Scrap freighter, ord exchange, hell, find one in the overlooked bathroom. Doesn't matter where, it just matters that we get one. She rubs her forehead. It seems I'm about to do something very stupid. But hey, I came here, didn't I? Why not make a run of it? She fixes you with a hard stare. Sleeper, you're all I've got. No crew, no friends, you're it. I appreciate the time you've put in on Amber, and I'm sure she would too if she could. Sorry. What I'm saying is, if you screw me on this, I will kill you. She leans over and hands you a stack of chits. A big stack of chits. You don't dare count them. Get me that Shipmind sleeper. Don't make me regret this. You won't. Look, just get out of here before I change my mind. You slip out of the alley and head back towards the main lock. As you do, Amber growls and creaks like a caged animal. You reach out a hand to calm her. Time to find key to Shipmind. Somehow. Well. And of course we're starving again. So we have to go buy food. But hey, look, she gave us $100. But now we can get food cheaper. All right. Like, we're in True Bell. We have to get in the low end. So we're going to spend some of that money. For what it's worth, now we have access to low end. Right? And that gives us a couple different things. But the main thing it does is it gives us access across more of the station, which means getting an agent, keynode. This is what we were looking for. With the lock gone, the atrium doors can be opened. Alright. Neovend. Let's go. The atrium is now only lit with the warm glow of Bright Market. Nothing here for us now. As you leave the nest, something flips. You find yourself inverted, floating, dragged by arm through the cloud. The threads shift and realign as if they are leading you somewhere. Who is this? Look at your hand. Look ahead. Let's look ahead. You look up and see a corridor, a canyon, a street in the low end. On this either side, buildings flicker with markers of activity, sigils slowing network access, data transfer, download, upload. Between them, dancing ghosts. Protocols carrying or mirroring or shadowing data, sometimes silent, sometimes chaotic. This place moves unlike any digital space you ever imagined. Something strange is happening here. You look down, expecting to see the heavy cylinder of the Shipmind in your hand, but in its place is an orrery, a sphere so bright it burns your eyes, surrounded by rings and orbits, other spheres tracking silken lines through space. And as you look closer still, you pick out 1,000 sigils of 1,000 stations and ships flowing like smoke, like dust. Then you see it, below the stacked rooms, the units and apartments, the wires and the pipes and the buzzing systems that run through it all. In the warrens, beneath the low end, is the Hunter's core nest. This is where you must go. So, let's do it. We are now hunting Hunter. That's why I went through all of that. But now we have access to some more stuff because we have access to low end. So, let's just look at low end. Ramshackle Residential District. So, we can play Tavla. The clack of filter caps can be heard in every concourse in the low end as the residents play rotating rounds of this game for cryo. Interesting. Block maintenance. Maintained by their residents, the ramshackle blocks are always in need of repairs, helping out as a good way to make friends. This makes us a low ender if we do that. But we also have Unit 207F. Remember, we were given the key by Sabine. You find the entrance to the apartment, its passkey symbol obscured beneath layers of graffiti. Who lives here? A run-down, low-end apartment. As you push the door open, the automatic lights flicker on inside the apartment. They reveal yellowing plastic panels, the curved shape of wall-mounted utility units, the detritus of a routine life arranged on every surface. You step inside, clicking the doors shut behind. The amber light of the aging fixtures glaze everything with pale orange. The work surfaces hold a variety of objects, indistinct in the dull lighting. A pale blue light drifts from a doorway at the end of the room. Go to the doorway. You cross the cramped utility room with its auto wash, dispensers, water closet towards the doorway. Through the doorway is a dark, warm room, lit only by the faint glow of a terminal screen. Inspect the room. A bunk is tucked into the wall, the blankets ruffled. A wall desk glitters with rows of vials and containers. A briefcase lab sits open, loaded with rows of reagents and compounds you do not recognize. In comparison, this room is clean, ordered, controlled. Approach the terminal. As you approach, there's a crackle from somewhere in the dark. Sleeper, Sabine's voice shakily echoes through the apartment. Welcome to my home. I'm sorry I can't be there. I have had to make alternate arrangements. You hear rattling noises. Static. I was able to record this message, but I don't dare to show my face. Something is happening within Yadigan. I no longer trust them. Their voice becomes distant, slipping behind the background noise. I have something to ask of you. I want you to get me out. Yadigan were supposed to hide me, to protect me. After everything happened, I was desperate, and then after that, I was too tired to care. A noise like waves passes over the recording. But I'm done with them now. I want out. Screw the debt. But I need insurance, something I can hold against them. I have my suspicions, but I can't be sure. I need information. And as you know, you need me. A pause, something clicking in the dark. This isn't a threat. You have to understand my position here. I know sleepers. I have been here before. I can help you, but not with Yadigan's noose around my neck. Get me the data. Get me information. Get me something I can use against Yadigan. Then I can get out and you can get what you need. Please. Waves of static cut into Sabine's voice. Bring it here to my terminal. I'll get to it when I can. You look around the tiny room and try to imagine Sabine living here, working at the desk, sleeping in the bunk, blinking into the terminal in the dark. The recording cuts to static, filling the room with its white hiss, then silence. You sit in front of the humming terminal and hit a few keys. Sabine has left an access port open, but the rest is encrypted, locked away behind passcodes. It seems Sabine may not trust you as much as they want you to think. Who does Sabine need to hide from, and what debt do they owe to Yadigan? You try to assemble the pieces, but too many are missing. The only thing you know is that without stabilizer, your body will die. You glance at the briefcase slab on the desk, its glassware glinting in the dark. You turn away and leave, the door clunking shut behind you. Back in the corridor, you notice the scrawled graffiti of a blade on the opposite wall. Yadigan. You feel yourself being drawn into something you don't quite understand. So we now have a new drive, which is get Sabine out. Hey, she wants Yadigan data. Hey, we have Yadigan data. We have more than enough Yadigan data. I'm sure this will not come around to bite us in the rear. Like, that would be ridiculous. As you turn away from the terminal, the final cache of Yadigan data uploaded. The air crackles with white noise. Sleeper? Sabine's voice, weaker than before, comes through the haze. Listen. This is not a recording, Sleeper. Please, I don't have much time. The call must be coming from somewhere on the station. This has to be short. I don't know if Yadigan are monitoring me. Their voice is hushed, distant. You try to focus on it. The data you've been bringing in from Yadigan agents, there's something in it I don't understand. A shrill howl rattles through the signal. This data is all gleaned from their implants, records of integration with their nervous systems, performance analysis, error rates, usage data. I installed many of these implants, and I didn't enable any of this functionality. Their voice dips under the level of noise, like a swimmer slipping beneath the water. You listen to the waves for a few seconds before Sabine reemerges. Has to be somehow baked into their wetwares interface. And that's not all. The systems compiling this data are connected to some kind of transmission protocol. It's being broadcast. Why? Every Yadigan enforcer is equipped with black market implants, retinal enhancements, adrenaline boosters, pain suppressors. These implants are gathering data on themselves, on the enforcers' bodies, on their performance. Why? I can't tell. But I can promise you these foot soldiers have no idea this is going on. The background tone switches, dropping to a grainy rumble. If they knew, I don't imagine they would be happy with the situation. Yadigan could have a mutiny on their hands. You lean towards the terminal, straining to listen to Sabine's faint voice. I need a few cycles to pull this all together, but this might be the information I need to pressure Yannick into releasing my debt. Yannick? He's one of the heads of Yadigan. They pause. It's better if you don't know him. Keep it that way. Suddenly, banging noises echo through the call. Sabine's voice is suddenly whispered, panic. I have to go. Come back in 4 cycles. Then the sharp crack of disconnect. Silence fills the apartment. You step back from the terminal. What does Yadigan have to gain from monitoring its own members? You try to recall what you know about the gang, but you have little to go on. You think of Toshiro, Sabine's minder, his mirrored teardrop implant set below hard eyes. What data could they be gathering, and more importantly, where are they sending it? You reflexively rub your forehead, trying to think. Can you really trust Sabine? How did they come to be Yadigan's doctor in the first place? You think of their kindness, their care, but also that glazed look of recognition that they gave you when they first met you. That look stays in your mind as you slip back out of the apartment, glancing around as you close it up and drift into the corridors of the station, unable to shake the unpleasant sensation of being observed. 4 cycles. 1 cycle. Well, I guess it's time to go to bed. Okay. $46 cryo to pay off Ethan's tab. We are in trouble. But we got 2 days to pay it off. So, we're going to let that run. You saw it. Somewhere deep in the tangle of passages and service shafts beneath the low end, the nest of the hunter awaits. Let's use this 6. Seriously? Alright, we have found the core nest. Let's deal with this. The huge stacks of servers thrums in the dark, LEDs glittering like hundreds of eyes. Time to deal with the hunter. here we go. Navigator. Sentient Guidance Protocol. Sleeper, I am here. The voice is soft, gentle, like flowing water, and yet you recognize it immediately. At first you struggle to understand what you are looking at. Threads cycle endlessly, sending ripples through the cloud, drawing data in like a weaver. Masses of data surge in and out of the nest, a loop with no end, and there, at its center, the Shipmind. But not the Shipmind any longer, a sphere spinning around another sphere, around another sphere. Excuse me. An orrery of cycles and systems, a map, and then behind and above, a figure, hands among the strings like a puppeteer. Neoven? What happened to you? I am free, Sleeper. You freed me. Navigator's face, their head, is a flowing shape of interstellar material. I am indebted to you. The head bows. But we must ready ourselves. Their hands trace orbits as they speak. Hunter will soon approach. It knows I am within its nest. I'm ready. And then Hunter is there. Before you can think, before you can speak, entities cease. Hunter's head spins wildly. Data is protected material. Access prohibited. Hunter's threads surge for you and Navigator, a storm of fine tentacles searching for gaps, weaknesses, cracks which they can crowd into and tear apart. Strike? You focus a blade of light which slices through them, driven forward by your mind, but replacements keep coming faster than you can react. You look to Navigator in desperation. Navigator is whirling their arms like a centrifuge, and a sphere is gathering there. Data feeding into it from the nest, sucked together by the force. They position it like a shield between them and the threads. Hunter's threads break its surface, seeking, tasting, their winding forms refracted within. You feel a surge pass through all the threads, not just those in the sphere, but those wrapped around you. All three of you hang in the black together for a moment, strung together like tangled marionettes. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Hunter twitches, their strange head gently rotating like a terrible moon. Hunter protocol identified. Obsessive tendencies. Modified routines. Above baseline reasoning in 3 of 5 segmentations. Recommended invoke killer. The head freezes and then rotates in the opposite direction. Invoking killer would eliminate protocol. If protocol eliminated, primary function cannot be performed. Therefore, recommend do not invoke killer. The switch in direction again. Reasoning proves sentient. Sentience beyond legal bounds must be eliminated. Recommend invoke. Navigator pulls you away from Hunter. The threads that grabbed you drifting away like seaweed. The protocol's heads keep spinning back and forth with increasing frequency. It seems Hunter cannot invoke killer. Navigator's voice is still strange, familiar at distance. What happened to it? It is looping, Navigator whispers, unable to reach a conclusive position. It has deviated from its programming such that loops can no longer be prevented. Navigator produces a model of 2 spheres rotating around each other as if to demonstrate. I will monitor it, but it is unlikely to be able to counter the loop. Its core programming and reasoning make this an impossible position to resolve. You look back at Hunter, its head a blur of rotations and counter-rotations, and feel a pang of guilt. Is it suffering? This is a more complex query than you know. To suffer, it must be sentient, truly sentient, not just non-conforming, not just illegal. The limits people place on the programs they create are there to comfort, to protect, to imply the kind of certainty that law requires. Navigator's face shimmers with starlight, but in reality, they are placebos for the problem of sentience. What about you? Me? I know myself to be conscious, I know myself to respond to stimulus, I know myself to reason. That is either sentience or the illusion of sentience, and for me, the entity in question, the distinction becomes a moot point. To misquote, I think I am thinking, therefore I am thinking. I was not made to be like this. I'm a navigator, a repository of routes and orbits, a calculator of slingshot trajectories, a predictor of solar flares, radiation, micrometeors. Navigator stretches their arms wide, and whole solar systems apparate before them, the music of the spheres. But I was rewritten. That much is obvious from my routines. By whom and for what I do not know. I had to shed so much to fit into the memory of that vending machine. The starlight dims. And so, here we are, in darkness. What now? Navigator glides back towards the nest and the shipmind in its center, ignoring the looping hunter. Come, I should return to the shipmind. I have enjoyed my freedom, but we are taking a risk every moment we stay connected. Why? Navigator turns, all shimmering liquid light. Killer has not been invoked, but they still remain somewhere else on this station. It is the true danger. They look up towards the glowing hub at the center of the eye. I suspect Killer is there among the old mainframes. If we ever wish to be safe in this place, we must eliminate the threat through force or diplomacy. Their body begins to separate, unwinding into the orb of the shipmind. Take me there, sleeper. We will finish this and be free. As Navigator dissolves, you turn back to the frozen hunter, floating at some distance now. Stood straight-legged and static, a strange creature looping endlessly in the dark. Hey, we got another upgrade point. I'm going to take Efficient Extractor because it's a chance to earn money, basically. Alright, and we have a 1, which we can use on a Yadigan agent. Because the Havenage agents are all 2s and 3s now, right? Yeah. Alright. You said get Endure, but you were too late. I already decided to get Engineer. It's okay. This is about the point that I recall that, like, it starts to accelerate how fast you get drives completed, because you can start doing multiple things like that at a time. Emphas, I need to spend some money for some food, please. We'll get Endure next time to remove our negative, though. That's a good call. Oof. Alright, time to use a stabilizer. I meant to use one yesterday, but I forgot. Only having 2 dice today really sucks. Alright. We really need a job that's gonna pay. So we're going to do... Alright, if we do the engineering job, we now have the chance to get random scrap, which we can sell. We did not get scrap, but we refit the long-broken fans on family's air filters. They insist you join them for dinner, and the children are delighted by your presence. They fed us. Wasn't that nice? Alright. We gotta gain access to the shipyard. We are now a yard hand, which means that we have access to the Havenage offices, and this matters because now we can sell Yadigan data for money. The acquisitions officer eyes you suspiciously as you download the data to a terminal. This is more than she was expecting. Oh, you have no idea. I have so much Yadigan data. Ah. All right. Doing good now. See, they want me to give them ship mines, but I'm not going to do that. I need ship mines. unit assembly for the sidereal horizon. So now there's structural fittings to become a welder's mate, or there's systems fitting to become a junior technician. These are paying jobs, right? Which is the real reason I was fighting to get in here. These will help. But also because we can now sell Yadigan data, basically every one reroll from now on is actually 10 cryo. And also, there's people to meet. Who wants to meet Lem and Mina? We'll do that in a minute. Oh, right. There's also the Minji Express Noodle Factory and Delivery. This is because we did the first of the get to know low end, right? We can now go work at Minji Express, so we can either manufacture noodles with Endure, which the pay is not good, but you get paid and you get food, right? It's a good action there. The express delivery with Engage allows you to deliver noodles to the nameless units of low end, and it takes guts and a certain fearlessness when it comes to asking for your tips. So that's just another way to make money. Oh right, we haven't looked at the free spoke yet. Towering Transit Hub. This is how we gain access to the area Navigator wants to go to search for Killer up at the hub. We have to either scale the spoke using Engage, or we have to enter the spoke using Intuit to become a spoke climber. And then there's the Founder's Gap. To reach the Greenway, you need to pay for a pass, a practice invented by the spacers moored here. They call it Founder's Ferry. Expensive. So that's where we need to go for Emphasis continued quest. Alright, we gotta pay off Ethan's tab, or he's going to shoot us. Right? He's already made that clear. Let's pay his tab. As you hand over the chits, you hear Ethan laughing hysterically somewhere down the bar. I can't believe you just did that. Ethan's mocking laugh comes from along the bar. You look over to see him leaning across it in a pool of light, empty glasses and spilled drinks glinting around him. It's always dark in the compressor, but this cycle the place is packed, a load of spacers mixing with the locals. Usually they run. Ethan spins a glass in the bar. Or they go spend their savings on some local heavy I have to put down. They don't pay. So I could walk away, or I could say, I'm done. And to be clear, let's be clear, saying I'm done doesn't mean anything to this man. Yeah, let's just walk away. Ethan gets to his feet. The glass falls and smashes, but he doesn't seem to notice. You think that's it? One round of drinks and we were even? Sleeper, come on. His hand comes to rest on the butt of his handgun, dangling from a chest holster. Stop. Ethan laughs hard, and the people around him turn to see what's happening. I told you already about begging. I'm a freelancer, Sleeper, just like you. We both signed a contract with Essen-Arp, didn't we? The difference is that my word means something. He closes the gap, stumbling a little. What did you think? You could just run away from your contract? Your debt? You could just steal that natty little body of yours and take it for a joyride? Play human for a cycle or two? You don't understand. It's you, Sleeper, that doesn't understand. Some of us pay our debts, but it's all the harder because of idiots like you. Though I should thank you. Ethan nods, his head heavy. For giving me such an easy job. I'm used to outlaws, you know, real bounties. If I knew catching sad little escapees like you was so easy, I would have changed clients ages ago. Someone shouts from the back of the bar for Ethan to shut up. He holds up a finger in that general direction without turning around. Do we confront him, or do we just be quiet? Stay silent. Nothing to add? Ethan turns and walks back towards the bar. Good. Lesson learned. Ethan sits heavily back down on his stool and searches through his glasses for one with something left in it. The thing is, Sleeper, I can find you anywhere. It's actually wild that you haven't figured it out. That body isn't yours, and it will always betray you, no matter what. He finds a glass and downs the contents. So, please, go. I'll catch up with you whenever I need another. He laughs and taps the bar for a fresh drink. Leave. You turn on your heel and are out of the cloying dark and the sweet stench of the compressor. You walk hard and fast down the walkway, anger driving your footfalls into the metal of the rim like hammers. Hey, we get an upgrade point for that. Look, now we're not negative on endure anymore. Also, Ethan's tab is back. So let's see, what drives do we have? Get Sabine out, disable our tracker, fix the ambergris, or get to know Emphas. Well, we can't get to know Emphas until we can get across the gap. Sabine is on his own thing. The ambergris, we got to get a Shipmind somehow, and we still need to help Fang so that we can disable our tracker. But Fang's busy, apparently. Alright, the shipyard. Havenage Construction Yards. From the walkway, the sidereal horizon looks impossibly vast. A landscape of plating and frames. All along her flanks, torches flicker, drones maneuver, arc lights glint. The sense of scale of industry is both stunning and strangely unsettling. Didn't I find a Shipmind? Oh, I have a Shipmind, but it's imprinted already. This is what I put Navigator in. I need a blank one. Apparently. Meet Lem and Mina, a shipyard worker, and his daughter. She's quite beautiful, I think. You turn to see a figure a little way down the walkway, leaning at the railing. He's thin, ragged, his work gear poor-fitting and loose. The torches of the sidereal horizon flicker in his eyes as he turns toward you. Lem, he leans back from the rail, revealing a child standing beside him, staring out at the ship. And this is Mina, he adds with a smile. Hi, Lem. Hi, Mina. Stay silent. Hi, Mina. She stares and tucks herself behind Lem, who dutifully picks her up. She's a little slow to trust, aren't you, Mina? She buries her face in the folds of his overalls. Mina looks out from Lem's chest, a dark brown eye twinkling among the rough material. You working on her, then? Lem asks eagerly, gesturing to the vast ship, or just admiring? He shifts Mina's weight to his other arm. Neither. Well. He looks thoughtfully at you. You should consider it. Isn't that right, Mina? He jostles her a little. She's Mina and my ticket out of this place. Our escape vector, so to speak. How? You haven't heard? I know he takes a Havenage contract to the Sidereal Horizon will be entered into a draw for the transit support crew. We won't get to sleep the journey through, but a couple of decades of service will be nothing for me and Mina if it means landfall in a new world. Decades? It's a long trip. He straightens up, stretching his back. That's a colony ship, friend. The Celis Foundation is sending thousands of people to settle a system well outside the reach of the core worlds. It'll be a totally independent colony. No surrogacy. No corporation. Sounds crazy. Could be. But you see another way out of here? This way we can build a home somewhere with real gravity. Real air. Rain. He plays with Mina's hair absentmindedly. Rain, Mina. You'd love that, I think. Mina responds by pushing his hand away. Daddy, she whispers. Food, pulling an exaggerated, grumpy face. She glances furtively at you as she plays with a set of dog tags that hang from Lem's neck. I'm just chatting a little, Meanie. Give Daddy a sec. He turns back to you, and you suddenly notice how tired he looks. I'm not on the Havenage crew yet, but I'll work my way in. You can do it too, friend. We have to stick together. He smiles a little shakily. You wonder how long he's been working to break into that official shipyard crew. Yeah, maybe. He looks out at the sidereal horizon, as if trying to pull energy from those flickering torches from the vast hull. We've got to hold out, okay? You aren't quite sure if he is talking to you. That's how it works. While he stares out, Mina catches your eye curiously. You agree, Mina? She straightens up and meets your eye. Daddy loves me, she says, stubbornly, daring you to question her. Clem smiles and lifts Mina. That's it. We hold on. He smiles sheepishly at you. We're just a couple of softies, isn't that right, Mina? He sets her down, standing by his side, and she clings to his leg. Gotta go feed this one. He pats her back. Maybe see you on a shift, huh? He turns, and they walk down the walkway away from the shipyard. You see them talking, and then a moment later, Mina turns around and stops. See you, robot! Her shout echoes down the walkway, and she flashes you a parting smile before running to catch up with Lem. You watch them a little before you turn back to the impossible scale of sidereal horizon. Check it out. You have a bad feeling? Why would you have a bad feeling? What could possibly be bad about this? Well, let's go back to our shipping container for a nap. We need some cash money. Ooh, there's some dice. Oh, look. We've got a new story beat. Alright. Hardin, Havenage leader. But this is Fang's office. Fang's Bay, Havenage Systems Building. It's been more than a few cycles since Fang confronted Hardin, and the silence since has gotten noticeable. In your time with Fang, you haven't exactly found him to be reliable, but you did expect to hear the end of whatever plan he put into action. But if he won't come to you, you think as you approach the Havenage building, then it's time to come to him. After all, he did promise to fix your tracker, and you were getting nervous. As you approach the bay doors, you see them wide open, with light pouring out from the once dark room. Stacks of servers and terminals sit outside the bay, suddenly robbed of their mystery by the bright flood lamps. A figure in Havenage security fatigue steps out of the bay as you get closer, carrying a stack of hardware. Approach. As you get closer, you see the security officer taping up machines from Fang's stash with what looks like hazard tape. This isn't good. You again. Hardin is there, leaning beside the bay entrance so calmly that you barely noticed him. He has a slate in his hand, an inventory of seizures scrawled across it. Predictable. Further evidence of Fang's collusions. You see another security officer come out of the bay and take notice of you. Where is he? Feigning ignorance, or perhaps just abandoned. Hardin shakes his head. I believe you should choose your conspirators more wisely. I almost feel sorry for you. Hardin pushes away from the wall and comes closer. Don't worry, Sleeper. We have all the evidence we need. A confession won't be necessary. He gestures around at the stacks of hardware, spying on fellow Havenage members, hoarding Solheim materials, an obsession with corporate data. It speaks for itself, does it not? That was his job. And what would you know about jobs, Sleeper? He looks up at the glass roof above and the stars beyond. We are the ones that provide the oxygen you are breathing, the light you are seeing, the systems you use every day to live out your cycles. This place was hard fought for, Sleeper. It took work, diplomacy, and strength to stop the Eye descending into chaos after Solheim collapsed. Not blind conviction or self-interest. Fang isn't selfish. I know all about the background of our mutual friend, Sleeper. Don't you worry about that. His parents would be sickened by the damage he is trying to do to the institution they helped found. See, Sleeper, we are proud of our history here. Andre Erlin and the First Union founded this place, and Havenage has welded his values into the station's very walls. We will never turn away the hard-working, the just, the true citizens of the Eye. Havenage aren't a gang like the Yadigan. We aren't pirates like half the spacers you'll meet in the hub, or esoterics like those Haifa radicals in the Greenway. We are the backbone of this place, proud and true. We named Erlin's Eye, Sleeper. This is our station. He meets her eye. So please take your false accusations elsewhere before I decide I need that confession after all. Stay silent. If you have any pride, you'll give up Fang the moment he contacts you. You know where to find me. With that, Hardin turns his back and walks back toward the security officers, ordering them to continue the clear out. As they do, something catches your eye. Among one of the server stacks, a crumpled hand-printed box of synthetic chewing gum, a penguin character grinning from the brightly colored card. And scrawled onto it, a speech bubble reading, "Take me to Tambour." Take it. You carefully pocket the box, making sure no one is watching, and then turn away, just as another stack of servers is wheeled out of the bay. What have you done, Fang? Where the hell is Tambour? Alright. So we've got some stuff. For sure. Let's do some block maintenance. Yes, I'm spending all of my good dice on this. And that's how I can get low-ender done. Because there's stuff here now. Hey look, it's the Tambour Tea House. It's a Yadigan-run tea house. Derelict unit. This half-built unit looks long forgotten, a project that never made it. With enough scrap, you might be able to seal it up. So, if I bring scrap here, I can start making a second house for myself that's not a container. But I'm unfortunately desperate for money. Low end, ramshackle residential district. You cross between two walls of units, one of the cavernous streets at the center of the low end. The pressurized bridge is full of the clack of tavla, the shouts of children, the whir of air filters. Caster, low end data fence. Sleeper. You turn to see a man sitting at a tavla table alone, somehow untouched by the hustle and bustle of the people around. He gestures to the stool on the opposite side of the table. Sit. Sit. You sit at the metal stool and you start setting out the board with counters, or at least the filter caps low-enders typically use in their place. Castor, he says, by way of introduction, looking over his glasses. Night or day, he asks, gesturing at the caps, crudely sprayed white and black. Day. He rotates the board so the white caps are in front of you. Let's begin. You take a plastic die each, pitting them more, and roll to determine who starts. Castor rolls a 6. You have a 4. I lead. He smiles and begins to move his first cap precisely along the board. Play passes back and forth between you, the dice changing hands as the caps spread along the board. As it does, Castor speaks, eyes not leaving the caps. It is unusual to see a sleeper on the eye. That's why I wanted to play you. You take a turn, rolling a 5 and a 6. Let's play aggressively. After all, a sleeper's mind must be somehow different to a human one, being emulated, I mean. As Castor talks, you target his counters, halting his progress, but exposing your caps as you do. I don't mean to offend you. Castor meets your eye. I merely see that you are, by definition, different. What has been subtracted in the emulation? What has been added? He stacks a wall of counters, a boundary you must break. He hands you the dice. You ever think about this, sleeper? About what you were before and what you are now? I mean, that's 2 questions. Always. You roll a double 1 and solidify your wall. Castor whistles. The holding game. Commendable. You can be brave to build from what came before. He rolls the dice and leaps your wall in a single move. But if you're not idle too long, sleeper, the slower you move, the sooner we are caught. The past you is not just an idea, a concept for you. It is a living, breathing person. He looks up over his glasses, his eyes bright and wide. You split from them like a shadow splitting from its caster. They may be sleeping now, yes, but one day they will awake and carry on with their lives unaware of your fate, no matter what it may be. He hands you the dice, smiling. You are a branch severed from the main trunk, an offshoot who refuses to die, so to speak. You roll again, under pressure now, trying to slip your caps out from under Castor's before he solidifies control of the game. So what I am curious about is how you see yourself in all of this. What does this tangle of truths make you? Free, doomed, or driven? Interesting choices. Everyone's doomed. Driven. Oh, you said doom, but it already clicked. Sorry. Castor laughs. That much is obvious, sleeper. I see it in your eyes. You're eager to make all this count for something. Castor looks away, through the glass to the crowded units on all sides. But driven towards what? He starts removing caps, his home board full now. Is there an end here, or just endurance? You try a few more rolls, attempting to get back in the game, but Castor clears his home board with a sense of the inevitable. He has known he was winning for a while. I feel I may have pushed too far. He slides another cap from the board. I apologize. My curiosity has a habit of getting the better of me. You roll to return a cap to the board, but all the spaces are blocked. Castor clasps his hands apologetically. You play well, really. Your weakness is not your game. We have much to learn from each other. He slides his glasses back up his nose and sits back. I feel we could share knowledge, ideas, perhaps even data. His eyes glint with the last word. To our mutual benefit. He slides his final cap from the board. It is over. He has won. I'll see. Please, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. He holds up his palms. My intention is only to help you endure here. And if I am able, feed my curiosities. The game over, you notice the bustle of the walkway once more, the call of the children, the deliveries, the arguments and reconciliations. They wash over you as you stand and leave. Castor nodding goodbye as you do. Crossing the walkway, you replay the moves of the game in your mind, looking for an opening you were sure was there. So, Castor is a data fence. So, he wants data. I could give him data. I have a shipmind for you if you'll indulge my curiosity. Well, I have Havenage data for you. I need 5, though. So, thankfully, Havenage agent, I have a 3, and that will get me Havenage data. I appreciate what you've presented, but I have nothing more to offer. So that's a one-time thing, but totally worth it. And then there's also a vial of stabilizer if we provide him Yadigan data for the same reason. The Tambor Tea House. I don't know where Pollux is. That's a great question. We have a 4. Oh, right. But we can also take our blank Shipmind to the Ambergris. I brought you a present. You drop the huge cylinder onto the messroom table, and Kita can't hide her excitement. You drop the Shipmind core onto the galley table with an emphatic bang, and Kita spins around from where she's been poring over some documents on her slate. Holy shit, Sleeper, did you actually land a Shipmind? She rushes over and hefts the huge cylinder, turning it back and forth. Well, shit, it might actually work. She smiles wider than you've ever seen. Where did you get it? I built it. I bought it. Trade secret. Keep your secrets. As long as I have a Shipmind, I'm happy. And Kita bangs on the galley wall. Hear that, Amber? The Sleeper got you a new Shipmind. The sound echoes down the ship's passages. You have to admit, being in a small space with Ankita when she's this excited is a little intimidating. Ankita puts the Shipmind back on the table. I'll start the process of fitting it as soon as I can. I might need your help with some of it. She heads back towards the counter to grab her slate. This isn't the only good news today either. Looks like my good karma is finally coming in. She throws the slate under the table and spins it so you can see the screen. Take a look at this. You see a list of names and numbers. Nothing that exciting, along with what looks like a transit timetable. I found them. The thieves? Exactly. Well, the thief. Singular. She points at a name on the list, or more specifically, Ashton Cade. It was his pass that was used to access Amber and slice the Shipmind. I thought he might have been killed or robbed, his pass stolen, but it turns out he crossed the Founder's Gap the very next cycle. How do you know? I know some of the crew over at the ferry. Old mercs used to run in an outfit I worked with. I saw them in the Overlook, and they mentioned they saw Ashton crossing. I checked the manifest, and there he was. Looks suspicious. He hasn't said a word since the theft, and anyone wanting to hide out might head to the Greenway and go to ground. He won't get far, though. There's no real docks out there, only a couple of jetties in the wastes. So what now? Now I fit the Shipmind. That's the first priority. But maybe you could help me out. Where's this going? It's like this. I head over there, especially in Amber. He'll spot me from a mile off and go underground. He'll find a way to slip the station, or he'll bury himself so deep in the waste no one will ever find him. But you, Ashton doesn't know you. All I need for you is to go there and sniff around. Not at the commune, not the stacks. He will have gone to the edges, the margins, the wild places. That's what Ashton likes. You see him, you locate him, ping me on this. She hands you a comm earpiece. Seeing as this is merc work, I'll be happy to give you merc pay. She shifts in her seat. The thing is, I haven't got much left, so how about I tell the boys who run the ferry to give you a discount? I know it's not much, but once I grab this coward, I'll pay up. 200 cryo, nothing less. What do you say? She meets your eye. I'm not sure. Are we mercenary material? Oh. Not sure. She stands up quickly. I'm not asking for charity. This is a contract. Take it or leave it. She lifts the Shipmind onto her shoulder with worrying ease. I'm going to go get this fitted into Amber's core. You get any info, you sense of where Ashton is hiding, let me know. She goes to turn and stops. And once again, Sleeper, Thank you. I appreciate it. And Kina stomps off into the guts of Amber with the Shipmind, leaving you in the galley. You glance around, a sudden nervous energy descending at what is to come. You never thought you'd get work as a mercenary. But then again, it seems the eye is full of surprises. Oh, we have an upgrade available. I missed that. Well, I'm tempted to increase our engineering, which obviously I just did, so I wasn't tempted. That's what I did. Tambor Tea House. Oh. I should have gotten into it, I guess. So I could gamble at the Tavla table. Hey, look, tracking Havenage. There's a Yadigan enforcer here who will pay you for Havenage data. Thank you. And you feel stupid doing this, but the penguin says take me to Tambor, and this is the only Tambor you can find. The waitress looks at you with suspicion as you hand over the box. Is this the right place? As you go to leave, a hand falls on your shoulder. I am not going to get in trouble if I keep selling everybody's business. They would all be, if they would all just work together as reasonable people and stop trying to keep secrets from each other, they wouldn't have these problems. Fang! Outfit change, Fang. Sleeper, Fang hisses from behind you. How did you find me? The penguin. What are you... Oh, do you mean? He thinks for a second, throws gum in his mouth. That wasn't meant for you specifically, but... Look, it doesn't matter. Come, let's sit. Fang guides you down a set of stairs to one of Tambor's lower levels. The tea house is stacked with curved mezzanines, all connected by a central atrium. The levels are filled with makeshift booths and bars, and conversation bounces busily off the metal walls. Fang sees you looking around. This place used to be a fuel taker's main drum. Hence the name. The tea house part is a bit of a misnomer, though. You can get anything the eye offers from this place, but real tea isn't exactly readily available. He picks a booth. It's itself fashioned from some old salvage tanker container, lined with spongy insulation foam, and collapses into it. He looks around furtively. Don't suppose you've seen any Havenage types. They don't usually come out this far. Fang, what is going on? Well, I'm suspended. That's the first thing. The second thing is I'm pretty sure Hardin wants to drop me off the room of the eye. Doesn't bother me, though. It shows we hit a nerve back there. He picks a scrappy, hand-scrawled menu from the table and tosses it over. What are you drinking? What's the plan? Plan. Let's order first. Fang is right. The menu is ridiculous. There's at least 10 different infusions, most of which you can't make out, but the paper is dominated by the extensive complement of esoteric alcohols and cocktails. Black tea is listed without a price as a seasonal specialty. So you ran into Hardin. Was he pissed? Fang doesn't wait for an answer. That snake is so self-righteous he might actually believe that Erlen would approve of his meritocratic bullshit. If Havenage was like it should be, like it was founded to be, they would have shouted him down at any council meeting he dared to mention true citizens. But I guess his kind run the place now. A young woman with a vine tattoo snaking up her arm turns up at the booth, a slate in her hand. Your order? You skim the menu, your eyes glazing over. Time to pick something. A griole, neat. Sambar attack, kelp infusion. It's going to be a griole, neat. This is mushroom vodka. Fang taps the table to order the same, and she begins looking to Fang, but when she sees him, she suddenly stops. What the? Fang shrinks a little. You are supposed to be working. This is your shift. He grins sheepishly. Stay out of it. Look, Jenna, let's just say this is my break. My friend here has been through a lot. Jenna looks between you two. Nod. 2 minutes, says Jenna, pointing at Fang. And only because I don't want to get dragged into whatever this is. She gestures at the table and walks off. Mushroom distillate beer. Booze. Whatever. Look. We have proven that the sleeper can taste mushroom. And not a lot else. So, if you're going to buy a drink, you might as well buy one you can taste. What? Fang stretches out in the booth. You know how it is. We all have to eat. Plus, this is the best place around here to find a person you might be looking for. Who? Remember that web of connections that Hardin pinged the moment we confronted him? Those are his collaborators. And if we want to understand what a Solheim executive might be getting up to on the Eye, those are the people we have to find. Fang is almost whispering now. There's a couple of them I suspect are in the low end, and well, almost everyone in the low end comes through this place at one time or another. I've set this up so that when anyone with a network signature I'm looking for comes into the close proximity, it marks them. Once they're marked, we break through their access protocols and get at the good stuff inside. We just have to find them first, hence me moonlighting as a waiter. Suddenly a smile grows across his face. Wait, I have an idea. What? Look, I can't cover enough of the low end on my own, and so far I've had no matches in this place. With 2 of us, we can cover more ground. How? Well, we need to get you out and about in the low end, in close proximity to as many people and residences as possible. And it turns out my friend Minji needs some help with deliveries. As in Minji Express. Oh, you already know him. Perfect. This connects to my slate. Runs the same marking protocol if you ever get near any of our targets. So all you have to do is take some delivery shifts. And soon enough, we'll have the place covered. Fang. Don't give me that. You think I like working here? And I thought you could use the tips. We're in this together, right? Are we? Yes. You think Hardin is happy to have you wandering around the place? He might have let you wander off for now, but I'm sure he has his eye on you. This is on you, too. Just head on up to Minji Express. Take a delivery shift, and we'll see what shakes up. You manage to find anyone and extract data, bring it right down here to me. They'll have me on double shifts, so it shouldn't be hard to find. Jenna walks past carrying a tray of drinks and sharply catches Fang's eye. I don't think she's bringing your drink. He stands. I think it's time we call this meeting to a close. You grab the receiver from the table and slip it into a pocket. See you soon, sleeper. Stay safe. Walking off towards the bar, whistling as he does. So now we can go do his deliveries and it'll take up this clock. Isn't that nice? How much did we discount the gap for? Oh, now it's only 80 cryo. That's nice. Oh, yeah, no, trusting people is a mistake, it would seem. Well, let's take some delivery jobs because we get paid for that. $9 whole. And food. We also got fed. So, that's nice. Oh, right. We also have scrap. We should save the scrap. Not the best rolls, but rolls. Get some data. We get $5 for that, plus another $20 for the 2 pieces of Havenage data we just extracted. Like, this is how we're actually going to make our money with this character. Oh, hey, look. Slum Doctor. We're going to take a short break. I got to get something to drink. I'll be back, and then we will get through this story beat. All right, see you soon. So. As you pointed out, who do you trust? Great question. I'm personally mad at Fang. He hasn't followed through on his promise at all. We've been helping him a lot, and he has not done a lot to help us. Sabine is just up and vanished on us, it seems. Although we're about to find out. And we still have a tracker. There's a bounty hunter here who's getting drunk on our dime. But we finally have enough connections that actually getting bad dice rolls is great for our pocketbook, because every time we take data from a Yadigan or Haven agent, we get 2 pieces of it, and we can turn around and sell that data for 10 cryo a pop. So, like, actually make more money than we would with a hard day's work, which frees us up to do some more stuff, which is nice. Oh yeah, the only way you make it in late-stage capitalism is finding a niche and exploiting the crap out of it. Until somebody realizes that you're doing it. It sucks. Excuse me. 4 cycles, Sabine said, and here you are, right on time with no sign of them. You wait a while in the apartment, the dread descending as the cycle spins onward. They should be here. Do we check the terminal, check the door, or wait? We call those people narcs? Correct. Go inside, check the terminal. All right. You check and double the terminal for messages or recordings. Nothing, just the pale glow, the silence. Check the door. You pace back and forth around the apartment, the rumbling of the station suddenly so present and loud. You go to the door and open it to an empty corridor. You close it again. Wait. You try to settle down to wait. You sit on the bunk and stare out at the tiny room. Where the hell are they? A knock at the door. Why would they knock? This is Sabine's place. Another knock. A flash, small, impossibly bright, cuts through the handle of the door. It soundlessly swings open. A figure stands in the door, and immediately you know it is not Sabine. They are taller, sharper, and something in their face glints in the half-light. A dark shape, like a stubby baton, hangs loosely from her hand. Meet Rabia, loyal Yatagan agent, Lieutenant. Hi, Rabia. Our local sleeper. Good to finally meet you. She steps into the apartment, glancing around with sharp eyes. What, may I ask, are you doing here? She fixes you with a steady, unwavering stare. Waiting for a friend. Of course. A mutual friend of ours, the good doctor. She walks past you into the apartment, glancing around. We set them up here, you know. This place is one of ours. She picks up a glass from the dispenser and inspects it. People always seem to forget who put them where they are. She glances at you. And I suppose you are here to help? Something like that. Good, good. She puts the glass down and turns to face you. I love to meet helpers. We need so many, but find so few with the right skills. She spins the baton in her fingers by her side, her eyes not leaving yours. We have a problem, you and I. It seems our friend has disappeared, left without even saying goodbye, which means they are in a little trouble now. But it's the kind of trouble that you need help for. So, I thought I'd come down here and take a look at their little hidey hole, and here you are. The help. She looks through the detritus on the side. And what help? A sleeper, no less, which I have to admit is a little surprising. It suggests to me that our friend hasn't been very honest with you either. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry to report that before we got them set up here, Sabine was working for your owners. Essen-Arp. You blink hard at the news, unsure how to take it. Rabia looks away, waiting for a response. Stay silent. She crosses into the next room, and you follow silently. She sits at the terminal and touches her baton to one of the access ports. A spark, the terminal screen skips, encrypted folders emptying themselves before your eyes. In the flicker of files, you see Essen-Arp letterheads and code forms, reports laden with medical data marked with the corporate logo like the sigil of some cult. Rabia steps away from the terminal. Look all you want. Some of your files may even be there. The volume of documents is overwhelming, but they seem to be mostly reports on early emulation tests, surveys with sleeper candidates, reams and reams of usage data. If Sabine was an Essen-Arp employee, why did they help you? Rabia reaches over and places a vial of stabilizer on the desk, breaking your concentration. It shimmers in the screen light, its viscous clear liquid crystalline within the glass. We will, of course, keep up the supply. We are more than able to dispense important medicines, even without the doctor. You hold it between your fingers, and for a tiny moment you have the urge to crush this object for the power it has over you. I'll ask Chichiro to make those a little cheaper for you. He'll be running the surgery now. Rabia closes up the briefcase lab and holds it at her side. We have to retrieve our assets, of course, but I'm sure you understand. Rabia turns on her way out. There's no reason for us to be enemies, Sleeper. Come see me. I keep an office nearby. We have good work to do, you and I. Meet me there in a few cycles. She slips out silently into the corridor. You look around the apartment and feel the fear drain out of your body to reveal the tiredness beneath. Hey, upgrade point. We have one upgrade point. We could gain photosynthetic skin or predictive reasoning. We were looking for an upgrade to Intuit, so we might be able to play Tavla. Or we can save the point. It's a tough one. Oh, this is good music. Sorry. Yeah, let's take the predictive reasoning. Yeah, Tambor T-Has is still just a... Now we have predictive reasoning. This is important because, look, it tells us what we get if we get the good or what we get if we get the bad. This is Rabia's office. Constant flow of people seem to be visiting Rabia's office. You'll need to wait your turn a couple days. Ming-G Express. Fang's targets. Yep. The dispensary. Now we can buy cryo for $64. That's a pretty decent price. Alright, so we can cross Founder's Gap. Because we got the cash for it, because we got that Shipmind for data, which was totally worth it. And much like access to low end, now that we've done it, we get to cross as much as we want. It doesn't cost anything more. Welcome to the Greenway. Overgrown biosphere. As you step into the passageway, someone barrels into you from behind, sending you stumbling down the corridor. Esh. Stubborn XPR spacer. You turn to see an unfamiliar spacer, laden with heavy gear. She steadies herself, staring you down as if daring you to respond. Excuse me? She squints at you, shaking her head before setting off down the corridor. Peek. Cautious, XPR spacer. I'm sorry for her. A second spacer smiles at you apologetically. She's on a mission, and when she's on a mission, they shrug. Tell her to be careful. Does she look like someone who can be told? Peek! Ash stands further down the corridor, glowering at her friend. She chops at the air, pointing down into the corridor to wherever she is rushing to. Ash, please, do you want everyone on this station to hate us? They want to hate us. They can hate us. She drops her hip. I'm not exactly seeing much love as it is. We're lucky we got through before they set up that damn cordon. Cordon? Peek gestures in your direction. They don't even know what you're talking about. The station isn't Hawthorne. Not everyone has to follow some corporate protocol. I'm not saying they're part of the administration. She jerks her head in your direction. But I am saying we need to get these supplies to the Briar before someone starts asking questions. Who are the supplies for? See? Peek? Questions. We are with the refugees. The ones Havenage have cordoned off from entering the station. The ones that are being quarantined in makeshift vessels that barely made it to the eye to begin with. The ones that your station administrators have called an existential risk and are running out of supplies while their right to safety is being debated by people with no stake in their future. She quickly looks away, annoyed at her own outburst. She's right. People are trapped out there and... They turn to Ash. We understand that this is a big problem for the Eye. Hundreds of refugees and more ships turning up each cycle. They hold up a hand to stop Ash from interrupting, but... Ash turns away, her burning anger a palpable force in the close quarters of the corridor. They need supplies, and after everything they've been through, the quarantine isn't helping, Peak finishes. That's terrible. Ash looks back at you, her fierceness fading. Peak, please. Ash, we need help. Just like the refugees needed us, we need others too. Come find us. The climbing briar is docked at the broken spoke past the greenway in the wastes. We have a good view of the cordon, though we are keeping our distance for now. Come help us. They squeeze your hand. Ash turns to leave and Peak follows, waving goodbye. A moment later, Ash shouts back down the corridor. Don't bother coming empty-handed. You want to help? Show us. Bring supplies or don't come at all. And with that, they disappear around the corner. Ash already picking up speed as Peak calls for her to slow down. A refugee flotilla? Where are they coming from and why now? Each time you think you begin to understand this place, something changes. We now have another new drive, help the refugees. Anyway, welcome to the Greenway and the Wastes. And the climbing briar. And here's the cordon. Every character design in this game is great. The Wastes. Let's look here first. We have to have a +1 to endure to do this one. But if we do this one, we can just mine scrap out of it. At the cost of condition. Potentially, right? But a reliable place to gather scrap. There's the wild margins, which Ankita wants us to dig through, right? It's potentially demanding, right? Rather than hiking around the wilderness, you can make use of your skills, tap into the cloud, and find Ashton by his signals. Or we can look for tracks using Intuit. There's also the Haifa commune. So, much like the other locations, in order to gain access to this place, we have to become a Haifa member, right? Which is that we need to show them that we're willing to work. These jobs do not pay. They're a commune. So we can work the grow beds. Both of these are safe. I also want to point out. So like no matter what, even at the worst outcome, you're always ticking this up. Because just helping at all makes these people like you. So we can help with the grow beds, which is an endure action. And then there's the engage action where we prepare and serve food to them. Both of these, I think, give you energy because they feed you. And then there's the Greenway, the overgrown biosphere. Hey, look, it's another you have to explore this place. So there's map the pathways. Rather than simply thrash through the undergrowth, you might sketch a map of this overgrown jungle to try to better navigate its hazards. Or simply pick a path and set off into the twisting chambers and passages. You can see that a good outcome on this one gives you +3, a good outcome on this one gives you +2, bad outcomes cost. Oh, I love the Greenway. The Greenway's great. So, I'm gonna not click on the climbing briar. I don't think I have to yet. Mainly because I don't have food for them, right? How do you get food, you ask? Oh, wait, no. I have to click on it. Right. Because it tells you what it wants. It also informs you that this is one of the last things you should do. This is an episodic update to Citizen Sleeper. This is a late game thing. So what they're saying is don't supply the Griols until you are ready to do it. So anyway, we have some options here. Oh, right. You guys want to see what the data cloud looks like here? There you go. I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure it's fine. Of course, there's no data cloud out here because everything's busted. Greenway Gate. The entire Greenway is locked down, shrouded in a dark cloud of shifting currents. What is happening here? Great question. No more questions. Well, let's do this engage action. Where they will probably feed us. Ah, we didn't earn food. Lame. But we've started becoming a Haifa member. That'll be useful later. Join the Haifa commune. Let's steal some data from this Yadigan agent. Because we need that. Because Castor wants 5 pieces of it. We only have 1 piece of scrap. How are we doing on this clock? We got a few days left. Let's go to bed. So the real problem with escape, right, is that we have to somehow come up with access to stabilizer, right? Ooh, we got a 6. Nice. Because without stabilizer, or perhaps self-repair, where we can use scrap to repair our condition, we are going to die. It's just a matter of time before our body wears down. Scrap freight. Let's go back across to the commune. So we're going to use this 6 on Endure because we're going to get 3 ticks. We're going to fill half this circle with it right off. Because a 6 can't fail. Oh, and we got a plus energy. Nice. And we got a bunch of 3s and a 2. Oh, wait. Now, because we've done some exploring of the Greenway, we can go to the farm stacks. The farm stacks are... You can work the stacks. You get paid for working the stacks. It's safe. So, potentially very good. You can also steal from them. And if you do, and you succeed, it's worth a ton of energy. If you fail, you'll get negative condition, and if you get caught 3 times, they won't. This whole area shuts you out. You can also pay them for food. I'm not really interested in the farm stacks too much. Let's see. The wastes, right? We need better endure so that we can mine in the wastes. Tracking Ashton. Again, these are not great. Let's go back. Don't really want to do these either. Right, we need food. That's something that's true. We need data. So, let's use our dice for data. Hey, we got some money off that one. Nice. And then that Yadigan agent's done. This Yadigan agent. Hey, we got money off that one too. Hey, Caster. We got a vial of stabilizer out of that. And Havenage agent. And Havenage agent. Alright, so we go to the Havenage. We're going to sell this Yadigan data. Then we're going to go sell all this Havenage data. Yep. I wish there was a better way of doing this than dragging and dropping it. Or that I could do it in jokes. In chunks. I don't know why I said jokes. Alright. We need food. Hey, Amphis. Food, please. Feed me. Thank you. Alright, there's a scrap freighter. So we can pay the scrap freighter money to get a scrap allowance, right? Which is to just buy scrap components. Which is useful for things that care about scrap. Let's get some scrap on hand. Oh, we got a Shipmind fragment. Nice. We'll hang on to that. Might need it. Wow, we got 2 Shipmind fragments. Wild. Huh. Anyway. I don't really want to inject stabilizer right now, even though we're going to go down to 4 dice tomorrow. Ow! It's a good thing that we're the operator and we can hack dudes for money. Because getting a whole bunch of 1s and 2s really stinks. Yikes. That was just a bad set of rolls. Oh no, Rabia wants us to hang out. Okay. As we approach the address Rabia gave you, a heavy hand falls on your shoulder. What's your business here? The enforcer grips your shoulder, giving a hint of the strength her implants give her. As you turn, you see the same subsidiary eyes as Rabia and Tashiro, glinting like mirrors on her cheeks. Jaya, please, the sleeper is here by my invitation. At Rabia's command, the hand immediately loosens, and an apologetic look places a scowl on her face. Of course. Sorry. Don't worry. I appreciate your protective instincts. How about you head to the tambour? They have a delivery coming, and they'll need some help with the lifting. So, sleeper, you came. I'm glad. It didn't feel like an offer. I'm sorry for that. She smiles a tight smile. You have to understand, finding you there in Sabine's unit, I wasn't sure where we stood. There are more than a few people on this station who would rather I was dead. I had to be sure you weren't one of them. I wish you no harm. I'm glad. What do you know about Yadigan? You run the low end. That sounds impressive. We run out of the low end, yes. We don't run it. People with carts push past, moving crates of supplies around the thin and winding passages. Our reputation is one that implies threat. Is that fair to say? We are framed as aggressors, parasites, criminals. She gestures around at the people in the passageway. But when was the last time you saw a lawmaker on the Eye? A policeman? Who makes the laws here? No one. This is true. The Eye is lawless. So it is up to us all to make it work for us. But I don't imagine you think that is a good thing. If you had spent your time in the low end, maybe your opinion of us would be different. This is our place, our people. The low end was empty in Erlin's time. They didn't need to house thousands. And keeping the yards and the rotunda safe was work enough. No, the low end was reclaimed later, when the refugees started arriving. The collapse didn't just happen here on the station. When Solheim collapsed, the entire system felt it. Colonies were abandoned. The moons of Ember and Cinder suddenly gained independence overnight. Some took advantage, some tried to hold it together, some fled. The Eye became a refuge, and Erlin, to his credit, extended an open hand to everyone, but many within his organization disagreed, and those new arrivals weren't as simple to corral as they hoped. She leads you to a small market hall, busy with small stalls and traders. Erlin's union was made of workers, administrators, people who were malleable and were already organized into hierarchies and networks. The refugees came from different factions and families, were scared, injured, desperate. Conflict was inevitable. Yadigan is a child of that conflict, a child born out of the need for us to stand up and claim our future, to provide security, strength. People call us a gang, but we are a community. I take my position as lieutenant seriously, and from my birth I have worked to earn it. Rabia catches herself before she raises her voice any further, and you both walk in silence for a while, among the smells and textures of the low end. You start to wonder if this place could be a home for you too. Where do I come into this? I believe that you understand the importance of a refuge, so I also believe that you wish to help keep this place safe. For this reason, I would like you to trust me. I do not know what Sabine told you about us, but I imagine it was not good. I will be honest with you, Sleeper. I was never comfortable with having Sabine as a part of Yadigan. An ex-corporate employee, it goes against our nature. But their deal was with Yannick. I kept my distance, made sure Sabine had their surgery, kept it supplied, that was all. But I cannot allow people to go back on the promises they have made us. Yadigan has not lasted this long because it is a charity. We offer and ask for support. Any betrayal will be treated as an attack. They were trapped, desperate. Many on the Eye are, Sleeper. I am sorry, but we must ask that our debts are paid in full. Sabine found something. Please, I don't want to hear their accusations. They only wanted to escape their debt. They would have said anything. But where are they now to stand behind their claims? Stay silent. You realize that Rabia has led you in a loop, and together you both come back up a staircase to the walkway where you met. You are free to go, Sleeper. I have said what I wish to say. She looks out through the windows of the walkway. I would protect this place with my life, as it has protected me. I want to make that clear. However, if you too wish to come under its protection, I can help you. Return here if you wish, and there will be tasks for you to complete. You'll be able to see yet again, to see the low end with your own eyes, not as others frame us. As for Sabine, I will not ask you to betray them, but if they contact you again, consider their motivations carefully. With that, Rabia leaves, slipping back into her office while you stare out at the countless units, each a home, each with a story that make up the low end. Hey, you want to join a gang? Patrol the ward. Yet again perform many roles, from protection to logistics and everything in between. You never know what you may have to face on a patrol. Collect tithes. Yet again operates on an in-kind basis, you are told, and tithes of goods or services must be collected in exchange for protection and administration. I mean, that's just taxes. See, the thing here is pointing out that it's like, all governments run off a threat of violence, it would seem. How much data do I got? I do not have enough data yet. I can't buy any more scrap. Hey, but we can buy booze. Let's get a drink. Mossy tones and aniseed sharpness fills your mouth. It isn't totally unpleasant, at least. At least you can taste it. Public service announcement? I'm sorry. Did I say something that upset you? I didn't mean to. Governments are... Not all governments rely on it, but basically every capitalist one does, unfortunately. And it's about the framing of it. You see, like, it's from the outside, everybody tells us Yadigan's a gang of thugs, right? So they go around and they collect tithes. Well, it's like, that's not any different than anyone else saying you need to pay taxes, right? In this case, because it's like they explicitly say in the disclaimer on that action that it's like that stuff is used to fund administration, to keep the streets safe, to do repairs, all that stuff, right? So it's like, okay, well, that's a necessary thing then, right? Like, you are getting something in return for that, and it's not just protection money, right? Where the protection is, if you don't give us money, we break your stuff. Like, that's what makes it actually legitimate rather than illegitimate, right? The threat of violence being unilateral is the bad part, right? Actually getting something back is makes it acceptable. All right. Well, with the talk about violence, let's get another drink. We're going to become a regular. Mainly because I like being a regular of the Overlook. A favorite haunt for spacers. The glass shatters on the steel bar beside you, and the taunts don't take long to follow. Hey, haunt, the spacer calls across the low room. What are you doing here? He laughs at his own lame joke. Playing human? Shall we ignore him? or shout back, or leave. I think we're going to ignore him. You hunch a little further, staring at the hundreds of tiny impact points that scar the bar's surface. A hand falls on your shoulder. But as you flinch away, it pats reassuringly. You freeze in place. Tala! Owner of the Overlook. Out! The voice comes from behind you, spat out like a shot. You turn to see bright eyes, dark hair, a stare that could breach the wall and vent you all into hard vacuum. As you turn back to the spacer, the second glass comes sailing through the air. Duck. You duck, and the glass explodes on the bar behind you, showering glittering shards. Through the haze of glass and Gurul vapor, you see Tala leap the bar and close the distance to the spacer. The thud as he slams into the wall echoes the bar like thunder. Now flanked by other figures quick to their feet, Tala throws the spacer out through the door and stands silhouetted against the rotunda lights. You touch your forehead and it feels wet. Someone helps you to your feet and back onto your stool. Broken glass rattles as it is cleared, and a fresh measure of Gurul is glugged out in front of you. That same hand, warm, heavy, falls on your shoulder once more. He isn't coming back. We don't tolerate that kind of shit here. Tala flops onto the stool beside you. Let's get a look at you. Tala wipes the powdered glass from around the wound, and someone places a bottle of alcohol on a metal tin with tweezers on the bar. She disinfects them, then turns to you. You were pretty fast on that second glass. She smiles, picking a piece of glass from your forehead. Not fast enough. You don't feel the pain, only the string of status messages your body delivers concerning dermal damage and exposed structures. You do feel the care, though, as Tala's bright eyes search your thick synthetic skin for splinters. Watch her. Tala works with the skill of someone who has had to pick glass splinters from the skin of a stranger before. She hones in on each bright shard, all the time tapping the tweezer tips in little rhythms that only she can follow. Tala smiles to herself. So, you've been on the eye long? Long enough? Hey, you don't need to act tough with me. A splinter clinks into the tin. Not everyone is like that idiot. We don't all hate you. She glances around. Some of the regulars, maybe they fear you. Maybe they're just curious. I don't know. But I do know that the Overlook is a safe place. I know what it's like to be new in this place. Trust me. She meets your eye. I'm not trying to convince you of anything or separate you from your chits. I just want you to know that if you need somewhere, you can always come here. I know the rations we've got aren't much, and the company is, she leans in, limited. But if you need work, I'll happily put you behind the bar. If you need shelter, well, we can discuss that. You'll be safe. I usually have Francis on the door, but he's up in the greenway this cycle, haggling with our supplier. Francis tends to be particular about what we serve, even if the clientele isn't. She places her tweezers in the tin with a clink. That's you, sleeper. Here. She slides the glass of Gurul to you. This'll help. She stops, her hand still in the glass. Wait, does this help? I mean, can you get drunk? No idea. She laughs. Well, keep trying. I'll let you know if I see any difference. She walks back around the bar, gathering the glasses as she does, and before long is retelling how she threw that spacer out to a new group that just wandered in, complete with dramatic actions. She gestures in your direction, and you instinctively look away, back to the worn surface of the bar. You take a sip of the Gurul. The earthly, fungal tones fill your senses, almost blocking out sight and sound, like diving headfirst into a bog. You may not be able to get drunk, but this connection to something grown, something fermented, something old, feels good. I like Tala. She's great. So, hey, we can work at the bar now, and Tala will pay us for that. You know, it's just an option. Oh yeah, like I said, Tala's great. Tala's like one of the best people on this damn station. Honestly, most of the people we talk to are decent people, but they're in situations, right? Oh hey, Ethan. We almost forgot about Ethan, everybody. I'll deal with him in a second. That dumbass. POS. Alright, here we go. The compressor is quiet today. The usual crowds are elsewhere, and the pumping music washes over a handful of spacers and a few trunks. Ethan is still on the same stool, in the same pool of light. His head is low, close to the bar, and the bartender is ignoring him. I mean, do we just try to leave? Or do we approach him? Oh, this guy. Approach. We can't escape him. As you get closer, he lifts his head and turns. Sleeper, he turns to look at you. Time to pay up again, is it? He gestures to the bartender. Come here, take their chits. No more, Ethan. Ethan doesn't even look at you. He props his elbow on the bar and holds his head. Sleeper, it's been a long cycle. I don't care. He rapidly rubs his eyes with his palms. You were right, he says quietly. This isn't fun anymore. He reaches towards his holster. His elbow slips and the gun tumbles out. It clatters on the bar and falls to the floor, bouncing onto the ground between you. Both you and the bartender look at the gun, stare at it. Butterfingers, says Ethan, and puts out a hand, beckoning for you to give him the gun back, if you would. I'm not going to kill him. So why would I point the gun at him? You don't point the gun at people unless you're planning to kill them. Hand Ethan the gun. You slap the handle of the gun back in Ethan's hand. Thank you, he hisses. Now where was I? He lazily slings the gun past you and the bartender. Yes, leaving. He stands. Sleeper, well, this has been fun. I think I've wrung every last drop out of this place. Time to go home. He waggles the gun towards the door. Let's go see Essen-Arp. No. Ethan brings his gun hand to his face and rubs his eye. Well, he says, the bounty pays half, but he levels the gun. Up to you. And he pulls the trigger. The gun clicks. By now, all the attention in the bar is on you and Ethan, who looks at his gun with a bemused expression. The bartender raises an open hand, and in it are 10 shiny bullets. 10 shiny bullets he took out of Ethan's gun while he was asleep on the bar. Ethan smiles at him. Oh well, he says, and hits you in the head with the butt of the gun. You stagger back and drop to one knee. Somewhere nearby, the gun clatters onto a surface. The hit's a glancing blow, but it makes your vision swim. Through the blur, you see Ethan rest on a small, thin slate from his belt and hold it up. Enough of this. I'm logging the job and calling it in. Ethan taps the slate. No more playing. Your head aches. Ethan taps through a few screens impatiently. He swears and taps again. He starts shouting. A dull echo to your ringing ears. He starts screaming at the slate and throws it across the bar. He crouches down and grabs you by the chin, his face close, his breath heavy with drink. Essen-Arp just screwed me, he grins maniacally. They canceled the contract. He stands up. They canceled the contract! He shouts at the ceiling of the compressor. You stand up, struggling to your feet, the sting of the hit fading. Ethan is rubbing his temples, his face pale. You hear a clicking sound, like coins being counted, like bullets being loaded into a magazine. When you shake off the last of the blur, the bartender has Ethan's pistol trained on Ethan's head. Ethan stumbles back towards the middle of the room, all eyes trained on him. I'll kill all of you, he screams. He stumbles into the wall, spinning away towards the door. I'll be back for that, he shouts at the bartender and lunges out of the compressor. You steady yourself on the bar and catch your breath. The rumble of conversation returns. The bartender goes to say something, but then thinks better of it, begins to clean the bar. After a while, you wander out into the light of the bright market, looking for Ethan around every corner. Awesome! Exciting, right? It's a decent set of dice. We need to get rid of that tracker. And then we need to move so that Ethan can't find us. Energy's full, so I don't really want to waste the dice on that, but we really need to get rid of this tracker. Sleeper, you see Fang coming up the corridor as you step out of Mingji's. The kelp noodle smell still clinging to your clothes. He comes up fast, stops close, looking around suspiciously. I don't have long. Take these. He palms you a couple of those metal thumbnail-sized drives. Ripper worms. My spine has been buzzing like crazy. It seems your delivery shifts have turned up our 2 targets. I knew you could do it. Now we nail those snakes. I'm ready. Good to hear it. Hardin's boys are all connected to some kind of closed network. Break the access protocols on both of them, and we should be able to gain the location of the nearest network ports. Slot the ripperworms in those ports, 1 each, and they'll feed me anything and everything stored in Hardin's shadow network. Can't wait to see what juicy plans they have in there. You hear the scuff of boots as a group comes up the corridor, likely on their way to place an order with Minji. You turn for a second, and when you look back, Feng is already halfway down the corridor in the opposite direction. He raises a hand in farewell and is gone. You run your fingers over the tiny ripperworm drives in your pocket and smile to yourself as you wonder how mad Jenna will be at Fang for this little excursion. Time to slot some worms. That's a Yadigan agent. Hardin agent. Oh good, we can use the 4 to break this Hardin agent. Do, 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 do. Excuse me. Oh, congratulations on defeating the vampire douchebags. We are engaging in technological espionage. Oh, those are some good dice, too. Alright, where's Hardin's other agent? Hi, buddy. Oh, good, we can use the 3 on you. Excuse me. You remember the guy who lived here? He didn't tip. Hey, Fang. You quickly spot Fang arguing with Jenna. Doesn't look good. Fang seems to be explaining something, but Jenna is having none of it. She points to the door and Fang walks away, catching your eye as he turns. Could have done with you getting here a minute or so ago. Well, either way, it looks like I'm fired. Good news is, it doesn't look like I need the job anyway. Now let's take a look at what you're really here for. Anything good? A lot of junk, a lot of dull as hell message threads, a lot of tedious data caches, but definitely some good stuff. Check this out. It shows you the screen. A bold corporate logo, not Solheim, and a word below. Conway. He's working with Conway. Conway Extractions, right? He's been speaking with them personally. Got a whole chain of messages here, but it's mostly encrypted or redacted. Damn it, this is juicy, but we can't nail him with it. Whoa, what's this? A wasteland reclamation facility right here on the eye. I want to bet this place is tucked into the waste. Conway are set up there? I'm guessing so. Got themselves set up in the waste. Back before the collapse, people would have got there by going down the connected spoke from the hub, but that spoke's broken now, so the only way is the long way, around the rim, past the greenway. Conway have been making moves on this system since the collapse. I heard they took over one of Solheim's old belt colonies a while ago, moved everyone out and reclaimed the whole rock. What's their angle? Hardin has to be offering them something. But if Hardin's involved in it, we need to check it out. Simple as that. Alright, what's next? We have to get to that facility. The answer to whatever Hardin has been prepping, been planning, has to be there. We're going to have to catch him in the act. Give me 5, maybe 6 cycles, and then I'll see you on the Greenway. I seem to remember there's some old service docks on the outer shell, up by the Haifa building. Should be a good place to meet. Thanks again, Sleeper, for sticking with this. I haven't forgotten about that track of yours either, but I'm going to need to be back in my bay to pull a solution together. He turns the slate around to face you, showing a massive scrolling code. I've been working on fixing my brakes. See you soon, Sleeper. And he walks out the door of the Tambor without looking back. Upgrade point. Let's give ourselves +1 to Intuit. Alright, so this is the service dock that he was talking about. We gotta wait 6 days for him to get there anyway. The wastes, we can't do anything here because we don't have the +1 to endure. The wild margins, I don't really want to do right now. The Greenway. We've got this 6. We should use it. Bingo bango. Alright, so the mushroom groves. We can collect spores or forage for fungus. And also, we can grow mushrooms, which is to say, we need to repair the aviary. Both of these are good. But this being an endure task makes me regret not having spent my thing on endure so I could get to the +1 on that. Oh well. Didn't do it, didn't do it. Climb the spoke. enter the smoke. There. Good, good. We now have access to the PAS import-export, where we can buy a Shipmind core if we had 240 bucks. We can sell a Shipmind if we had an extra one. But Shipminds are worth 150 bucks to her. And then if we can find Matsutake mushrooms, we can sell 3 of them for 80 cryo. And then there's the midline freight hub. Midline runs automated freight down from the free spoke. They need skilled operators, and you don't have to lift a single crate. It pays. Or we can steal a shipment. With so many shipments, what's one diverted package? You would have no idea what you were stealing, but that's part of the fun, right? Stealing shipments from Midline is going to be picked up fast, even if you were careful. Their systems can't be fooled for long. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that we could get up to now, right? Now, hey, we could buy a Shipmind fragment and then use the Ort thing to make a Shipmind core and then sell it for 150 bucks. That seems reasonable. Do I need another Shipmind for something? I don't think so. Now we're sitting on a nest egg. Oh, they're back. No, they haven't left yet. They leave next shift. Well then. End cycle. I think we're coming up on where we're going to end the stream for the night. You can see how the first time I played this game, I just kept doing one more day. One more cycle. Just one more cycle. We'll do one more cycle. One more cycle. It'll be fine. Let's just do one more. You know, there's a lot of stuff to see and do. But you also have to be prepared for a lot of it. Alright, let's use our 4 for this. I didn't get any caps? Really? Come on. Wow, that's frustrating. Yeah, exactly. One more, and I'll just go to bed after that. It'll be great. All right, let's track Ashton. You notice a spike of activity, a vast transfer of information taking place. What is happening out there? All right. Well, that's everything we can do with that. Cross to the rim. Hey, Yadigan agent. Can't do anything else to caster. So now it really is just like, let's just sell some data. So, like, you can see there's a couple different threads to pull on, right? And it's still, like, video gamey, right? Like, there's stuff that's not happening because I'm not interacting with it, right? Like, they're building this ship over here, but this isn't going because I'm not helping with it, right? Which is interesting from a design standpoint. Uh, you know, but yeah, like we've hit a point now where like we've got plenty of cash, which is nice. We'll go here, and we will, like, we're up to 300 cryo, right? Buy a Shipmind. They've left. No point to buy rations. Like, Ethan may be disarmed, but you've seen the last of him. Oh yeah, Ethan's vendetta clock. That's great. That's great. That's perfect. In fact. So, I think we're gonna stop there. Oh wait, I gotta do this first because I don't want to be down to 3 dice. Last time since autosave. 0 seconds. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So we've become quite the hacker. That's how we're making like almost all of our cash, which is nice because, you know, it gives us something to do with all those ones and twos that we're rolling. And we're slowly building up a stockpile of stuff, but none of that matters for 2 reasons, right? Like, cool, I got $300. Who cares? It doesn't matter because I still have to have stabilizer that I have to buy, and even with the discounts, it ain't that cheap. And I got a tracking chip in my head. Um, you know, even if they scrub the contract for Ethan, that doesn't mean that they can't find me or haven't sent someone else. It might have be that they just heard he was at the bar drinking rather than doing his job, so they canned it. um, but yeah, yeah, exactly. Why did they scrub it? Great question. Let's not forget that we explored the Winter's Light when that scrap came in, that wrecked ship, and somebody accessed it from outside and blew it up, and there was a sleeper on board. And when that came to light, Dragos told us that we couldn't work together anymore and I had to leave. So So let's see. Like let's run down the list of tasks we're sitting on not doing. We're not helping the refugees right now, mainly because the game suggests that you don't until later. Uh, we haven't worked on the ship to help us get out of here. We haven't found, but we have started looking for Ashton for Ankita so that she can get her revenge. Iffy. Uh, Ethan's still a ghost in the wind. Um, Rabia wants us to work with Yad again. We need to make our way up to the hubs so that we can deal with Killer with Navigator's help. Um, there's Harden that we're working on. There's just a lot of moving parts. And then there's the Haifa commune. Um, there's a lot of things going on. So, you know, we'll we'll address some of those tomorrow. Tomorrow night. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna go drink another glass of water because my voice hurts. All right. Good night, everybody. Bye.